Hey, I welcome you all. Today, in this lesson, we will learn about the effective way to learning. Many people fail to learn effectively because they lack technique. So, today in this lesson, I'm going to teach you how you can maximize your learning and untap the true potential of yourself. Now, something about me, my name is Abhay Kumar Mishra, and it's something about me that I have cracked several competitive exams, and I have a very deep passion for teaching because I wish to bring a revolutionary change in the society. I wish to help students to maximize their potential and and gain success in life. So here are three friends. First friend is Bholu, and second friend is Shambhu, and third friend, his name is Shyam. Among these three friends, Shyam is very intelligent because he know the techniques of how to learn effectively. They have exams and they after 15 days and they are about to give exams after 15 to 20 days. So let's see. Now, what Shyam did the techniques. We are going through the techniques what Shyam followed and topped the exam. Now, first part is this the method of active recall. Now, what is this active recall? So, active recall is a continuous learning process where you continuously retrieve information from the brain by asking questions. It is a form of active learning process rather than passively learning or just reading the stuff passively. Suppose you are given a content like a para to read. Now you are reading the para, then actually now the application of active recall comes. Suppose you read 10 lines in a para, then you should close the book and just try to retrieve the information about what you have read about the para and simplify it in your own words. So, in this process, what happens? Uh, you just forcing your brain to retrieve more and more information about your past activity. So, in active recall, there are several objectives like what we want to achieve. See, what we have just learned after one reading session by asking questions. This is the main objective of the active recall. And if you find any gaps in the learning, then revisiting the learning material again and again will plug those gaps and just enhances your learning. So now just focusing on what is the significance of the active recall. So the significant thing is that it forces your brain. It will force your brain to retrieve more and more information, and thus you will never get bored and relish learning. And second step is that it enhances new neural connections. You have to work your brain harder and build new connections to be able to actually absorb more and more information. And in terms of time, if we talk about, yes, it's definitely a time taking process, but it will definitely improve your grade in the exams. Now, part two is the Feynman technique. So, what is the Feynman technique? Richard Feynman was a brilliant explainer of this Feynman technique. He gave the Feynman techniques. So let's learn about the Feynman technique. Suppose uh, you want to learn about like the laws of motion. So you have to choose the concept and just after reading the concept, you just close the book and imagine that a child is sitting near you and you are explaining that concept in simpler terms to that child. And in the process of explaining, you will learn and find the gaps in the learning, and you will retrieve information from the brain, and you will just make a simpler version of that learning. And in that learning process, you will just grasp the command over subject. So this is actually Feynman technique. Feynman technique is that after going through the content, you just close the book and in and just simplify that concept in your own language so that you can explain it to a toddler in your own simpler terms. So in the process of this, you will just gain the command over the concept. The part 3 is space repetition. So this is the forgetting curve given by a scientist. His name is Hermann Ebbinghaus in 1885. He told that suppose here you see that at the starting, whatever you read, the content in the brain is 100%. After 20 minutes, that content just decreases to 60% into memory. After 9 hours, it just depletes to between 25 to 40%. So, to alter this forgetting curve, we need a clear cut revision. And revision should be in a pattern like what you have read. You just have to revise that content at the night, then after 1 day, then after 3 days, then after 7 days, then after 1 month, then after 15 months, and like this. So this is a process. So in the process of this, you are just altering the Amigos forgetting curve. So now I am going to talk you about the benefits of spaced repetition. It will help you alter the Ebbinghaus forgetting curve. It will help you to retain information for longer periods of time, and in the process you are making your neural connections more and more strong. Part 4 is Pomodoro technique. So the basic crux of this Pomodoro technique is like you have to divide your entire goal into small achievable targets, small manageable chunks. Suppose you have a target of finishing 20 page in just 4 hours. So you just divide your target of like 5 page per hour, and in this way you are just breaking your big goals into small achievable targets. So here you can do like you have to buy a stopwatch, and in that do your work for 25 minutes and then just relax for 5 minutes. Don't do anything, or you can listen to some music, then back to work. Again 25 minutes work, then 5 minutes rest. And second step like you can do for 50 minutes, then 10 minutes rest. It's depend upon your capacity. So what's the benefit of this Pomodoro technique? It will manage distractions and control your time, and it will help your pace, and it will keep maintaining the motivation in you because it will not allow your brain to get tired. Like after one Pomodoro session, you have to wait for 5 minutes, two Pomodoro session, three Pomodoro session, four Pomodoro sessions. Like just relax for 30 minutes, then again start your Pomodoro sessions and get back to work. Now, part 5, what are the tools for actually revising your content? First thing is that you have to use your flashcards like Anki, or you can use Google Sheets. So, what is speciality in Anki? It is a very basic tool. So that suppose you have to memorize some facts, you just write down the questions like Tropic of Cancer passes through how many states from the India? So you just write Tropic of Cancer passes through, then at the back of the answer, you just write the answer. So whenever you are revising that Anki, you just be presented with a question from how many states Tropic of Cancer is passing, then you have to just use the method of active recall and retrieve the information from your brain. And in that process, you are forcing your brain to find the gaps in your learning. After that, you have to click the show answer button, and the answer will be displayed in front of you. In that process, you are just plugging those gaps in your learning, and it will make your brain so much active. and makes a new neural connections in your brain. And you can use an alternative of Anki, that is Google Sheets. So I am presenting you an example of Google Sheets. Suppose in the left A column, I want to learn about blood coagulation. So I have written a very basic questions like what's hemostasis, what happened when the blood vessels is damaged, how does this lead to platelet come into contact with the vessel wall, what's the immediate response to severing of blood vessels, and what's it followed by. So this is like all the basic questions relating to blood coagulation. After reading the content, I have written the basic questions related to blood coagulation. So whenever I am revising this topic, I have to visit those questions. And if I'm not able to answer one question, then I have to revisit that material again and just plug the gaps in learning. I guess now you have completed. You are completely understood. You have completely understood about about these Ankis and Google Sheets applications. So the Shyam, which I told you about, he is the topper of the class, while Bholu score moderate, Shambhu score moderate, while Shyam top the class because he follows all the techniques I have told in this video. So now coming to the conclusion. So we have read about active recall, retrieving the information by asking more and more questions. Then Feynman technique, simplify the bigger concepts in your simpler words and just imagining that you're explaining it to a toddler in your own words. And space repetition, like to counter the forgetting curve and to boost neural connections. You are repetitively spacing your revision schedule so that you are strengthening your neural connections and strengthening your memory. So, and one most thing, important thing is the use of Pomodoro technique so that your motivation is maintained for a longer period of time and your study seems like a gamified version of something else, so you will enjoy your learning. And I wish you all the best in your endeavor and wish you a good luck. Thank you.